You have just learned about Me, We, Us, a simple and powerful facilitation tool. However, some situations are a bit more complicated and require a different approach to get the job done. Why? My clients call me because they have a problem that they can't solve themselves, because complexity and emotions are getting in the way. In this video, I'll introduce my favorite facilitation tool, Dynamic Facilitation. Dynamic Facilitation was created by Jim Ruff to deal with social conflict. I will demonstrate how Dynamic Facilitation is used with a little help from my old friend, Gunnar Eriksson. Gunnar was the Chief Information Officer for a large public hospital in Sweden. One day he called me out of the blue. Normally I would have been thrilled to hear from my old friend, but Gunnar had a problem. The doctors are going crazy. They want to fire our whole IT department and outsource everything. That's simply not possible and would be a disaster. Can you get here as quickly as possible and try to calm everyone down? For me, this was not the first time I heard about an IT department in conflict, and I was confident I could help. I agreed to lead a workshop to find the key issues that were hurting cooperation between the IT department and the hospital management. Before the workshop began, I prepared the room for a dynamic facilitation session by hanging lots of flip chart papers, the theme, and 4 categories on the walls. Now the participants were sitting in a semicircle facing the flip chart papers. After warming up the group, I began by explaining how the workshop works. We're here to explore how to improve cooperation between the IT department and the hospital management team. I'm glad to have all 12 key stakeholders in the room. My role is to write down as much as I can under these 4 categories: data, concerns, problem statement, and solutions. Your job is to share all your knowledge and opinions. Let's have one person talk at a time just to make sure we'll all be heard. At the end of the discussion, we'll summarize the key issues on a new piece of flip chart paper. All clear? Does anyone have a solution to share? I sure have a solution, began the physician-in-chief, Martin Persson. Let's close the IT department and outsource the services. Problem solved. This way we can begin to guarantee some level of competence. Chief Supervisor of Patient Security, Maru Lindberg, has other concerns. If we outsource our IT department, we give up control over patient data. This is a security concern on a few different levels. The data needs to be correct for our doctors, and their personal information needs to be secure from external threats. Everyone was contributing, and the group was having a good discussion now. I was writing everything down as best I could while everyone continued talking. We had begun the conversation with closing the IT department. We continued talking about countless frustrations with ongoing IT projects, and finally, we started getting into some real cooperation issues. After an hour and a half, I decided it was time to end the discussion. Thank you for the great contributions and all your ideas. Now it's time to summarize them. Could someone suggest the key issues based on the discussion, and I'll write them down on this flip chart. Martin, the physician-in-chief, was eager to give it a try. He said, "The key issue is the lack of common goals between our operations department and the IT department. Another important issue is a lack of communication. We simply do not spend enough time reviewing projects together. It's rare for people from different departments to come together to review something. I think these are the main issues that we need to tackle." Gunnar added, "I think that a third key issue is the lack of resources for the IT department. We need to make sure they have the tools, the time, and the people that they need. Right now, they only have the resources to put out fires and react to emergencies." We evaluated the results, and everyone seemed to agree with these 3 points. I drew things to a close by saying, "Thank you for the great workshop, and let's work on the solutions next time." Dynamic facilitation is simple. You introduce the tool, record as much of the conversation as you can, and help the group summarize the discussion. Documenting the discussion is the key to success. Seeing what was said helps people feel that they've been heard and deepens discussion. Another function of documenting the conversation is to help participants be objective. When you see the situation in front of you, instead of trying to process it internally, You grasp the real issues, which leads to new insights and viewpoints. The categories of dynamic facilitation, data, concerns, problem statement, and solutions play an important role guiding the discussion and help the participants look at the theme from all angles. The concerns category is particularly important. It gives people the chance to vent their frustrations and complain a bit. When you're given the chance to complain, you let go of your frustrations and worries, and you're prepared to be more productive. How did dynamic facilitation get its name? What makes it dynamic? People tend to have superficial problems on their minds. As the conversation flows using dynamic facilitation, surface-level troubles fade away, and dynamic shifts are made to deeper levels of conversation that produce new solutions and ideas. I use this group tool in the clarifying stage of a workshop. It's especially useful for complex situations when emotions are involved. Dynamic facilitation has helped me solve some very tense conflicts that seemed impossible to resolve at first glance. The tool also has helped me lead groups to some dramatic breakthroughs. You should definitely give it a try.